So, Batman the Brave and the Bold has the potential to be the best Batman movie ever made. And I am going to tell you exactly why I think so. So, the character Batman is notorious for his solo films, especially regarding the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy and the most recent Matt Reeves' The Batman series. Both of those projects are regarded some of the best Batman content we've ever gotten in live action, and yet both of them disregard some of the most important aspects about the character. So, for the first time since the 1990s, James Gunn announced that we will be getting a Batman movie that includes the character Robin. Now, if you don't know, Batman was actually only a solo character for about 2 to 3 years in the beginning of his creation. That's right, the character that was around for nearly 90 years was only on his own for 3 of those years. Robin was created in year 3. I might be slightly wrong about the math and the years and how they line up, but I'm pretty sure it was within the span of like 2 to 4 years. Robin, specifically Dick Grayson, is one of the biggest players in the Batman mythos ever. His connections to the wider DC universe and everyone in the Batverse, I guess, is so wide, it's insane. And yet the last movie we saw him in was in Batman and Robin in the 90s. Now, of course, that movie is probably the reason why studios and directors are so scared to use him again, but I mean, we're just gonna disregard that. But the main point is that the Bat family, and Robin specifically, is like 50% of every good Batman story. Take The Killing Joke, for example, one of the most well-regarded Batman books ever created. It's Baby's first Batman books. If you want to get into comics, you read that comic. That entire story's plot hinges on the fact that Jim and Barbara Gordon need to be saved from the Joker. 2 of the most key members of the Bat family are the sole reason that comic book happened. Or you know what? Let's move on from that book. Let's talk about Batman Under the Red Hood. The entire plot of that book is focused on the dead Robin and him returning from the dead to get revenge on Batman and the Joker. The entire core of that book is about a Robin. You're not happy with that example? Okay, let me give you a more fresh example. Batman, the Court of Owls. Dick Grayson, the first Robin that I mentioned before, his family, his entire lineage is the Court of Owls. When Dick Grayson got older, he was supposed to become a Talon. He is the main tie to the entire secret society living under Gotham City. Arguably, the most important part of that story is Dick Grayson and his tie to the Court of Owls. So there's 3 books. 3 of the most famous Batman storylines ever created, 3 of the most beginner Batman books anyone could ever read to get into the character, and all 3 of them revolve around the aspect of family. So why in the world, why in God's green earth, has every live-action adaptation of the character completely ignored this aspect? And you know what? It's not even live action. It's most media outside of comic books. Take one of the best Batman adaptations ever created, the Arkham games. Now you might be thinking to yourself, Brandon, those games have the Bat family. What are you talking about? They're literally all in it. You are correct. They are all in it. But they do not matter in the slightest. First of all, in the first game, nobody is in it. Not a single one of them. But that's fine. You know, the whole point of the game is Batman is confined to an asylum. He's trapped on an island with all of his villains with no help. That's the whole premise of the game, right? But then we get to Arkham City. In that game, Nightwing is reduced to a DLC character who doesn't even have voice lines. Barbara Gordon, aka Oracle, is designated to purely voice lines. She doesn't even have a character. Tim Drake's Robin appears for not even 5 minutes, and when you think he's going to stick around, he immediately gets sent off to do his own thing separate from Batman. And Jason Todd isn't even alluded to. All of the core members of the Bat family are not important in that game, and when we finally see one of them, he's waved off as if he doesn't matter. Now Arkham Knight tries to do more with that, right? They try to introduce the Bat family in a more special way and add these like team takedown moments where you can play as them during combat sections. They tried to fix their mistakes in the other games, but once again, none of them truly matter. It is specifically all about Batman. All of the Bat family members are in Gotham City at the same time. Batman doesn't want any of their help. Insanity. Insanity, dude. So when it comes to the Nolan trilogy and the Batman movie, I can understand why those directors tried to exclude Robin. Realistically, it's hard to have a realistic, quote-unquote, representation of Batman adopt a 10-year-old child to wear tights and fight alongside him. And the whole premise of Robin is that he wears brighter colors so the enemies aim their guns at him so they're distracted and Batman can take them out. And that wouldn't really play over very well in a realistic world. So sure, let's give them the benefit of the doubt in that scenario. But you know what, actually, I don't want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because Robin, as I stated, is one of the most important characters to Batman in any way. It's not just Alfred and Bruce Wayne, it's everyone. I'm stuttering over my words because I'm so heated about this. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me how you can exclude the character for so long. But that's where Batman Brave and the Bold comes into play, and why I think it can be the best Batman movie ever put to screen. It was announced that The Brave and the Bold will include Batman and his son Damian Wayne as Robin. So this obviously means a couple things. This is the first Robin we're getting since the 90s, but also it's Damian Wayne. That is typically the fourth Robin. If you're unfamiliar with the order, it goes Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, and then Damian Wayne. And then you have a few sprinkled in between that aren't super important, like Stephanie Brown and Carrie Kelly. But they're not very focused on. The four core Robins are Batman's adopted sons. So if we're skipping straight to Damian Wayne as Robin in this film, that potentially means that Nightwing already exists, Jason Todd is already dead and could be Red Hood already, and Tim Drake is already on his own as Red Robin and could be a part of the Titans. Damian being the first Robin that we're going to see in this universe suggests a wider universe of the Bat family already existing. And right there, James Gunn has already gotten more correct about this character than anyone prior. I recently recorded a podcast talking about the entire slate announcement with my friend Ben, and he said it great himself. He said that family is the #1 theme of any Batman story. And obviously throughout this entire video, I have expressed that. I have told you examples of that. It's the truth. It's a fact. So let's put the Bat family to the side for a second. I've already explained everything I can and why they're so important, but why else will this movie be the best Batman film we've ever gotten? Now, I know I'm jumping to conclusions. I know we have nothing outside of the title and a synopsis for this film, but genuinely, I'm just excited about the idea of all this. But this movie can finally show the comic booky side of Batman. So yeah, is there a better way of saying that? Of course there is, but I don't really care. So as I said before, the two most popular adaptations of Batman in live action are both realistic, grounded Batmen set in the real world or anything close to the real world. But with a character that was created in comic books, freaking comic books, that doesn't always work out well. Because not only does a realistic setting kind of take away from the Bat family, because every version of a realistic Batman is, for some reason, an extreme loner, but it also takes away from Batman's famous rogues gallery. Now, yeah, half of his rogues gallery are criminals just dressed in spandex doing psychotic things, but the other half is this crazy, magical, extremo land of wackiness. There is a villain entirely made of clay. Just clay. He's entirely made up of clay. One of them is a human-sized crocodile. He even has a villain that is just a psychotic old man who jumps into a green hot tub every now and then to heal his age and make him last forever, who's constantly trying to make him his heir to the throne so he can take over for him when he eventually decides not to take a bath. So in the world we're living in now, where Brave and the Bold is going to come out, and it is set in the same reality as Superman and Booster Gold and Swamp Thing, for God's sake, you can best believe this movie is going to adapt and express its love for Batman's comic booky side. And that is the most exciting news to come from this entire slate. I truly believe, with everything that I just said, Batman the Brave and the Bold has the potential to be the best Batman live-action adaptation we've ever seen. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you have any other things to add to my point? Or do you disagree? Do you think that nothing can top Matt Reeves' The Batman? Because honestly, that movie is fantastic. But let me know in the comments below. And remember to click the video on the screen that's recommended to you. All my content I take pride in. So if you watch it, I really appreciate it. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.